What up, Buzz? You tapped in? Okay, Goose, you tapped in too? All right, Chicago, y'all tapped in? All right, boys, let's crack 'em. Feel like Mike in the fourth with the ball in my hands and I'm taking a shot. I'm the king in the madhouse on Madison, whether I make it or not. Now the crowd going crazy, they watching the play and I'm watching the clock. Got my shot in the air and the buzzer go off and I'm watching it drop. This team did things. MJ shot City 6 rings. D-Rose too big, too fast, too strong. History, and we good on that. Put Jilla on the track and we good on wax. 3, 2, 1. Everybody say Bulls on tap. Bulls on tap. Our city pretty and gritty. Benny the bull in the crowd getting hyper and litty. Me, I'm so drippy, it's slippery. Nothing offends me. Banners on banners, we winners. We got the stats in the news. Go and subscribe. Hang out with Buzzy and Goose. Tapping with us, we the truth. Jilla just murdered the booth.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bulls on Tap. I'm your boy Buzz. I'm joined by my dude Goose, and we're here to recap the first in-season tournament group play game that debuted the Chicago Bulls red courts. We'll get into that. Before we do, be sure to go on tapsportsnet.com for our Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter, X, whatever you call it, at Bulls on Tap and on Tap Sportsnet. Following Goose at Goose on Tap and me at Buzz on Tap. Please go to the YouTube. Dude, we're so close. We're so close. We're this fucking close to 1,000. So go over to the YouTube, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your mama, tell somebody. Please let them share in their misery of being a Chicago sports fan with us.
Get me some cards made up, and I'll just start dropping them to everybody that buys weed bag at work. Just
You just heard the man. So we are not only asking you to do us a favor, we are also offering drugs. So that's what we're going to do.
No, that's not what I said. I said I would put a promotional card for us in the bags at work in which people had already purchased. We're not giving away drugs.
Oh, they're still well, to me, you should. All right. Before we get in, because I had to watch this product. All right, man. Bulls lose 109-107. I know I didn't finish the spiel, but it's the in-season tournament game. There was a lot of different tonight stuff that we weren't really used to. You know, the new jerseys. Like, let's talk about that first before we break down the game. Jersey breakdown. What do you think?
I was not as disappointed as I was with the initial release that I had seen, but I still think, given just the brand that you have, the colors you have to work with, the jerseys we've seen in the City Edition form in previous years, that it just didn't quite meet the standard or the expectation. No longer in the category of thinking it looks bad. I don't know that you can make a bad jersey with red, black, white.
Right.
It's really, really hard to do, especially since the Bulls have just such an iconic logo to begin with. In Chicago, such an iconic city, and there's so many things you can play off and use. So I feel like they could have done better with the jerseys, but not entirely disappointed.
Yeah, I thought they were real bland. Didn't hate them, didn't love them or anything like that. I thought they were just kind of bland. I mean, it's just kind of like it's like the typical new jerseys, like Utah Jazz jerseys, just like boring. You know, just like for whatever reason, this generation who designs these things like boring, which was, I guess, my generation.
Which is weird because the 90s, we had the crazy Raptors jerseys, the crazy Grizzly jerseys,
clip art type
Sixers.
Shit. Like he's like, it looks like they were made on paint. Sammy Davis, right? They did.
Not wrong.
Courts. Talk about the court, dude. So I really like the above pictures first. Like when they were released everything, I was like, okay, it's, new. I like new a lot when it comes to like different uniforms and stuff because alternates are always fun, right? For like that one special night a year, you get something different. As the game started and continued to develop, I kind of noticed I was really distracted by the fucking court, looking for the ball, watching the ball kind of get swung around. I'm like, man, what the fuck? So, I don't want to see that again. I know I will, but
I mean, we're 0-1, so I mean, maybe we'll have to change it up to being all black, and then you can still see the ball.
But if Jerry had to pay anything for that, I'm sure we'll see it again because he ain't getting one use out of that motherfucker. I'll tell you that now. All right, so I'm just saying.
Fair.
So no, I kind of found it distracting after a while. Did you find that or no?
I mean, I still liked it, to be fair.
That's cool. Yeah, that's fine.
I didn't really lose track of the ball. Maybe that's the LASIK surgery I had. Maybe you're just getting old. I know for some people they can't watch hockey because they can't really keep track of the puck either. So, that can be a downgrade to the viewing experience, so to speak. But I did like the change. Obviously, I didn't like the result of the game, or maybe I did like the result of the game. At the point I am with this team, I want a game that's enjoyable to watch, that you could have won at the last shot, and you don't. And tonight we saw Zach LaVine get 2 opportunities to tie the game at the end here instead of DeMar, which was different. We had Torrey Craig in the starting lineup instead of Patrick Williams, which was different. And like we've been asking for, we almost got a 20-point game out of Kobe White, but we still gave up way too many 3-point attempts, and Brooklyn fell just short of 20, correct?
They were 18 for 45 for 40% from downtown tonight against the Bulls. The Bulls started off pretty hot from 3.
We had 9 in the first half.
Yeah, they were getting them up there, and they were doing good. They end up with 28 on 11 makes for 39.3.
So only 2 made threes in the second half.
Yeah, pretty pathetic.
Which is how many Brooklyn had made in the first.
But let's talk about this for a minute, though. So when we're like looking at the stats, do you realize that Brooklyn only took 3 free throws total, or I'm sorry, in the first half, and then took those 2 in the fourth quarter? They had 5 on the game.
And you still lost.
And we lost. We out-rebounded them.
Well, we should have out-rebounded. Ben Simmons was their starting center.
Oh, it's not like it's by much. It was 42-39, but still, it's a win.
So that's embarrassing, though, because they played Lonnie Walker, Dennis Smith Jr. They were extremely small the entire night. I don't think they had a guy over 6'10" touch the floor.
And with that being said, we have Vooch go 6 for 13. He gets 13 shots up for 13 points and 13 boards. But we can keep talking about the double doubles he keeps getting.
And for once, this would be a game where I could agree with Stacey King's consistent harping of not getting the ball into the post.
There was a few times he had a mismatch that was pretty blatant that he wasn't found. And I understand that they're hitting threes and you got to do what you got to do. You're trying to stay in the game, but it wasn't like it was a blowout. You lost by 2 points. You had opportunities to make the most out of your possessions, and you kind of just passed them by for tougher shots, quite frankly, which sometimes I don't really understand. I don't get it.
Patrick Williams had 10 points. How did you feel about him off the bench?
Yeah, no, he looked aggressive. I mean, from the word jump, he looked aggressive. So if this is one game, and I'm happy that he looked aggressive, and I really look forward to him continuing to do something like that. But
I did not enjoy Patrick Williams' game. I'm glad he hit 2 threes. I'm glad he had 10 points. I watched him knock several defensive and offensive rebounds out of bounds instead of securing them.
Yeah, I saw him. He did end up with 5, though.
Couple of dumb turnovers.
Yeah,
I did not enjoy it. Looked like he was trying a little bit too hard to me, which I guess is better than the alternative of standstill Pat sitting in the corner.
Right. But, I mean, you have to admit, even though the mistakes came because he was being assertive, which is something that we've asked for.
That's something that we've asked for. So I guess beggars can't be choosy, but at the same time, I like to see positive results with the effort as well. Because if I'm not getting positive results with the effort, and I'm not getting positive results when you don't give effort, and you just don't really give positive effort, I know he was probably the leader in the box score for plus minus for the Bulls tonight. Yep. I know he was plus 10 at one point. So
yeah, that's where he ended. Plus 10.
That's where he ended. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you want to read into that stat and use it to your narrative, by all means. But for me, I still did not get what I need out of Pat to even think about the number $20 million a year.
Oh God, no! That is just so far fucking gone. I was just trying to give him his flowers for tonight because he took a benching going into something that is very new and exciting and popular. The NBA, I mean, kind of went out all for this thing. They had the LL Cool J on that motherfucker. Did you see that? Said, "Mama gonna knock you out, bitch." And I was like, "Damn!"
All out. LL Cool J in 2023.
Yeah, dude, I was fucking tripping. I thought that was awesome. Like, LL Cool J came out. I'm like, God damn, dude, like, let's go. But like, this is a big game. For the NBA in general. I mean, I know it counts towards the regular season standings. There's just hype around it. So I wanted to give him his flowers tonight because I'm usually just fucking consistently hating on him, as you know. I'm
And
making
tonight I
people
turned the
upset.
tables on you.
Right. I
Usually
know.
I'm trying to curb your excessive negativity about him at least a little bit, but tonight we got more than we usually do, and I still was not satisfied, Buzz.
Yeah, I'm not really either. I mean, like, let's be honest, dude. You know what I did last night? Or the other night when we got off after we lost? I downloaded NBA 2K24. Told myself I wasn't going to buy it. No, I'm not going to buy it. It's always the same fucking game, especially on a PC. I bought it, and I just went into rebuild mode. So that's where my brain's at now. I'm just in complete. That's where I'm at. I mean, it's just this is what this is, and okay, I could cheer for DeMar because I like DeMar. Vooch is I cheer for Vooch.
Zach and
Zach
DeMar both had over 20 points tonight.
They did. DeMar shot 9 for 20, 2 for 4 from downtown, 4 for 4 from the free throw line. He had 24
and those
points.
2 threes that he missed were air balls.
Yeah, I know, brutal. Torrey Craig, who got the start for Patrick Williams tonight.
Hit the opening 3 to start the game and then never scored again.
Never scored again. 3 points, 6 boards, 4 assists, though. One steal.
He did have quite a bit of foul trouble. I believe he had 4 fouls almost by the half.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So he was in a little bit of hot water there most of the game too, but that shouldn't affect you on the offensive end. So maybe that spot is simply just the forget about you spot in that starting lineup, and maybe Pat will find more success on the bench as long as Billy sticks to it. It was good to see Kobe White kind of bounce back in a positive way tonight. Had a couple good defensive plays as well.
Just not going to get the job done as his shooting from 3 for him. It's just hit. He's going to be a little microwave guy to come in off the bench for his career. That's what he's going to be if he can't get it consistent. I was very excited for him to start the season because of his play last year and his preseason play.
And he simply earned the opportunity with everything he's been to his organization.
But like in an in-season tournament game, you go hard, but you scored 18 points on 17 shots, and that's just what it is. I don't care how some of them look nice. I mean, you took too many shots to get to that total of points. The same could be said for Zach. I mean, 10 for 21.
And DeMar. I'm sorry. 20
and DeMar too, yeah. And DeMar.
20 shots is a lot.
20 shots, 24 points. I mean,
come away with that, especially when a good handful of those probably came at the free throw line.
Right. So, I mean, it's just, man, we've talked about the roster. We've talked about it time and time again. This is what it is now. And I guess what the keys are to look for is any young guy or person you think is going to stick around is what to continue to watch for their development, because I don't really know what else we're watching for. We're watching for it because we're gluttons for punishment and we love to talk to the people. That's why we're talking. But I don't know why anybody else would want to watch that.
No, it was the same old song and dance tonight.
Yeah.
Gave up too many threes against a team that you can't do that against. I don't think Dorian Finney-Smith or Royce O'Neal missed in the first half. From 3, they cooled off quite a bit in the second half, which allowed the Bulls to go on a couple of runs and get a lead for a good part of the game here in that second half. But ultimately just did not execute properly down the stretch. And timely rebounds, and Zach just did not come through in the clutch.
Let's talk about that for a minute. Oh, actually, let's bring up Io before we talk about that. Io will be out for the next couple games with I think there's an upper respiratory infection or something like that. So probably got like bronchitis or strep throat or something.
All right.
Yeah. So I think I read that. I'm pretty sure I read that, or I got my kid's sickness mixed with somebody with Io being out. I don't know.
We did go from summer straight to winter here in Illinois, so that's understandable.
That's very, very true. All right, so Zach's last. I mean, let's talk about Zach LaVine's last 2 minutes when he gets beat baseline by Bridges.
Well, and that was the issue for me, is it wasn't the missed shots.
Okay, so you went right where I went.
It was the getting beat baseline, giving up that uncontested 3. Those were the 2 biggest shots for the Nets at the end of the game, and Zach LaVine simply was catastrophic on the defensive end for both possessions. And, to do that and then miss, I guess, technically like 2 game-winning shots or game-tying shots, rather.
Fucking catastrophic is what it was.
And to complain about the lack of a foul call on the drive attempt before getting to the final, attempt at tying this game. And obviously at the end there, missing the free throw, getting the ball back and making the basket to end the game is probably damn near impossible. So expectations extremely low there, not holding too much against him. Obviously did have about an extra 3 seconds on the clock to get that last shot up.
And just ran backwards
and he just
faded it.
He thought he was back in that Charlotte game when Archie got that steal, and it just did not go down the same for the win there. So, like you said, this is just seeding play. I guess we'll be at the bottom of this seeding. The same will be at the bottom of any play-in or playoff seeding if we manage to torture ourselves enough to make it into that scenario. But no, I mean, for me, it wasn't the offensive failures to tie this game. It was the fact that we had to tie this game because he sucks so atrociously on defense.
That was your ultimate bail yourself out of I fucked up moment. You know what I mean? That basically the whole thing. So when he gets beat baseline and then he lets up the three, we get down the court. I mean, this is all going on in the game. They give him the ball to end it, which we don't see. He gets the ball, comes off a Vooch screen, burns 6 seconds off the clock, and I'm wondering what the fuck they're doing on that one. So then Ben Simmons reaches in and fouls him. He goes to the line. He hits the first one. He's got to miss a second one. Now he blows another possession. He gets the fucking rebound. He ran backwards, Goose, and chucks up a shot. How do you... Look, Flight 8 might be in my top 8 of favorite Bulls on the roster currently.
Flight 8 is in the top 8. Look at that.
He might be in my top 8.
Put that on a t-shirt.
No shit, dude. I mean, come on, man. Be aware of what you're doing. Act like you've been there before.
This is the best thing to me is my new lady's been watching the games with me, and she doesn't know basketball, doesn't follow basketball.
What is your problem?
And she's watching Zach LaVine make these faces at the end after chucking up that shot. Yep, just like that right there. I hope everybody watches the video form of this so they can see Buzz's LaVine impersonation. But she literally looks at him making these faces and goes, "You should be pissed. You're the reason they lost. You fucked up." And I'm like, well, see, even somebody who isn't a fan of the game knows what's going on, and that's unfortunate because, unlike you, Zach is probably in my top 3 favorite Bulls on this team. Yep, there it is, right there.
Do we get it?
We got it.
There we go. Look at, I could share things now. I've learned how to share.
So yeah, no, this is just, it's Bulls basketball, and we know it because it's continuity. So coming into the season with the slight amount that I was able to talk myself into maybe slightly higher expectations for this team, they're showing you why. And granted, we're not even 10 games in yet, and maybe they turn it around in this tournament. Billy must listen to our show, though, because the Craig switch, DeMar not getting the ball at the end. I know we're not the only ones that say these things because they're just so blatantly obvious. But to see these changes be made, maybe the sails are turning, Buzz. Maybe there's smooth sailing ahead. Although we do want to touch on the other clip that we're not going to share because we're not sure on the copyright.
I have to ask Tony about that.
Of it. But Patrick Beverly talking about the Bulls situation on a podcast comes out.
He gushes over Billy Donovan. And Goose and I just watched this before we went on. And he's gushing over Billy Donovan, basically saying that they're just all bullshitting over here. So as much as I like initial thoughts, like I want to go back and actually listen to it besides the clip that you and I listened to. Like I want to actually check out the whole thing. But initial like first thoughts of seeing that.
And what podcast is that on? So we can all
I think that was Pat Bev's podcast.
Pat Bev's podcast?
Yeah, it was his podcast, I believe. And he basically said they're bullshitting. But where I combat him is a good coach wouldn't have him bullshitting. And I like Billy. I've told you I like Billy. I'm a Billy guy. But don't you think that carries a little bit of weight? Or do you think that these vets are too far gone with a cocky Zach LaVine right here? Look at that. You know, who gets paid the max contract, who has not really done so much.
I think this team is too far gone. And I think the egos and what they think that they are as opposed to what Billy thinks they are is just too vast of a gap for him to really even want to insert himself into the situation, because I'm sure he wants to tell DeMar, hey, you know, your game is aging. We do a lot to revolve our offense around you. When it's not working, we need you to do this. Hey, Zach, we can't have you just forcing shit and not playing defense. You can't get all the shine on offense and let everybody else suffer on the defensive end. And he just simply probably can't say these things because of the caliber of player that they are, at least in terms of pay and perception. So it's Billy's in a no-win situation because he's been given a roster that simply can't win. It's not a contending roster. It's really not a competing roster.
When you just said perception, I was I was almost text you earlier today when I was at work because I saw like this mock trade idea. It was Kyle Lowry, something else, and like 3 first-round picks from Miami for Zach LaVine. And I thought in my head, why would anybody do that? And you're talking about perception, right? Like it's perceived.
You
from
give
the
me Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, and 3 first-round picks, send it.
Yeah, I'm taking that all day. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm driving
Hero's
him down here myself.
I mean, I might even take 2 picks if Hero's involved.
I'll drive him to O'Hare myself. Yeah.
I mean, and I feel like shit saying that, but at least with this current roster, I think Tyler Hero gives you just about everything that Zach LaVine can give you.
Probably. But I mean,
I don't think he's going to drop 51, but maybe. We're watching
Jordan Poole do
crazy stuff for the Wizards.
I mean, this isn't anything new. I'm not trying to go at Zach because he had a bad game. I mean, this has been just 2 years in the making now where it's just like, okay, the roster's going to blow up. I mean,
Zach has been in every trade rumor for 2 years.
Right.
The Bulls roster clearly needs a shakeup. There's no way that the front office and ownership are not seeing this.
How long can you hold out here, Goose? I mean, how long do they hold out?
I mean, obviously, you can only hold out on DeMar for about another couple months. Vooch, you have to hold out on for a couple of months, and at this point, after what you paid him, you're probably going to ride out that deal. He's going to be your veteran star, your old head in the locker room, which is kind of confusing in the sense that he's not really a leader. He's not a bad leader, but he's just not a vocal leader, kind of soft in a lot of ways. So, no, something's got to shake, and LaVine's the player that you have the most control on. Teams see it that way, too. If you're giving up that many assets, you want multiple years of control, even if the contract isn't something that you're too proud of. Given that he's a clutch sports athlete, I would all but guarantee without even looking that Zach's got a trade kicker. So if he's getting extra money to go to Miami, I'm sure he's a happy feller.
Oh, yeah, right.
And I do think that that's a situation that Zach could succeed in because Jimmy Butler is going to be on that ass.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. How crazy would that be if they ended up on this? That would be fucking nuts. All right,
as Bulls fans, it would be the extreme level of torture because I'm sure Zach will go and have success. There's no denying that he is an extremely skilled player and in the right situation, which Miami tends to be for a lot of people just because of their culture and their approach to things over there. But Zach LaVine and Jimmy Butler, the guy you traded for the guy, we just watched Miami go to a championship, and I was conflicted in whether or not I could root for Jimmy as much as I want to see him get a ring. Seeing that happen just to deal with the backlash of it is almost not even worth it. And that's selfish on my part. But to see Zach and Jimmy have success would be like the ultimate torture unless the Bulls won the lottery.
Yeah, that I need them to win the lottery, dude. There's a couple prospects coming out that are going to be pretty good, and maybe if they get their shit together, like the prospect that they should have probably fucking put all their eggs in their basket, in the beginning of the downfall. Because have you seen Wemby? That is just nuts, dude. Absolutely insane. Now that I can know how to share the screen, I'm having so much fun. Let's share this now. So here's the schedule. So our next couple of games, we've got Denver, Utah, Phoenix, and Detroit. Phoenix at their 2-3 record is a little misleading because they have lost a couple heartbreakers to the Spurs to start their season. Utah started off pretty slow as well.
Imagine just coming into the league, and in my opinion, KD's definitely a top 3 player when healthy, and just to decimate the super team twice. The team that's supposed to, do all the things, and you come in as a rookie and you dropped 38 last night. and it's just in this weirdest fashion, and it hurts to watch all these because it's like almost every night. Like even watching Brooklyn, like Mikal Bridges, they're taking chances on young guys that are still got potential, like Dennis Smith Jr.
Yeah.
You have young talent there, and you've got a whole bunch of shooting, and they're down guys right now too. So they're down Cam Johnson and Nick Claxton. So the Bulls got to face an injured team that's younger than them, doesn't have as much continuity as them, and should have walked all over the floor with them, and instead laid an egg. Continuity for the win, baby.
So tomorrow night, the Bulls take on the Nuggets. And the Nuggets
we beat them in the preseason, Buzz. We're surely going to wipe the floor with them, right?
Yeah, the defending champions. That game starts at 8 p.m. Bulls on Tap is questionable for tomorrow night at 8 p.m. on Saturday night.
On account of Buzz being old. No, he works really early. It's okay.
No, actually, my family is coming. My cousins are coming by tomorrow. So if I am sober enough, I will get this rolling. But
that's right. It's the weekend. You don't have work.
Yeah, I don't have work. Oh, I'm good. I'm ready to fucking party.
So it's just going to be a slosh Saturday.
Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy Saturday. Okay. They're gonna all show up at 5 p.m.
So TBD.
Yeah, it's TBD for tomorrow night. But we'll get it back going on Monday against Utah if we miss tomorrow night. But so the Bulls' schedule for this next couple of games is not easy at all. So you have Denver, Utah, Phoenix, Detroit, Milwaukee.
Lovely. So we really squandered the opportunity against teams in the same tier as us to start this season.
Losing to Detroit was big. Blowing it against Brooklyn there was bad. Getting
your ass kicked by OKC wasn't
getting your ass whipped by OKC to start the season. Yeah, they're a better team than us, but yeah, the Bulls it's going to come to a head sooner rather than later. I can tell you that this schedule is not easy at all. I mean, after that, you have 2 straight games against Orlando. And Orlando, I mean, you want to talk about
pretty much if you come out of that stretch just getting mollywopped and you go against Orlando 2 times and you don't find yourself getting a convincing victory, there's got to be something to come.
Yeah.
And that's probably just wishful thinking because
I just
trades this early in the season don't happen too much unless you're James Harden forcing your way out of a scenario. But there has been smoke around Zach for a while. And obviously DeMar's contract situation is somewhat likely to be working itself out behind closed doors. They know where their side stand headed towards this deadline, which will sneak up on us quicker than we realize. So I guess just hold on and try to not bleed from your eyes too much until something happens or nothing happens and you choose just not to turn the TV on anymore. So it's not a fun time in Chicago sports.
No, it's absolutely fucking brutal. It's absolutely brutal. Quarterback controversies, 100-loss baseball teams. The Bulls suck. It's all great. I was taking that's your final thought. That was well spoken from you, that whole thing. Was that your final thought, or do you have anything else before we get out of here?
I mean, I'd like to, I guess, get a little bit more out of Torrey Craig if he's going to be in the starting lineup. Hopefully Pat can keep the aggressive nature with a little bit more success, and Kobe get the shots down and the points up. And I guess let's try to steal a win against Denver. AK, make the call, send that cash, do what you got to do, or don't, because at this point, most of us don't care.
Jesus. But we'll still be here for you, though.
Yes.
We really don't care. Everybody be sure to go on tapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. I already told you where to follow us on Twitter. Please go to the YouTube. Tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your brothers, tell your sister, tell your grandma. I don't care. Tell anybody. We're so close to 1,000. Go over to the On Tap Sportsnet YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button. We might be back tomorrow. Depends on my alcohol intake. If not, we'll be back Monday. No doubt about it.